My name is Thomas Oostendorp. My nationality is Dutch, so from the Netherlands. I'm 30 years young and I work now as a head coach for FC Nürnberg in the Frauen-Bundesliga. I participate this master because I know the company and the owner Loran for a long time now. I also know which players he helps to develop, and we try to work together this year also when I take this step to Nürnberg to work together with Tactalyse with our players. That is not yet doable, so for me it was a logical step to do myself then a master and implement as much as possible of the knowledge of individual technical skills into my own portfolio of how to help and guide players, but also to help and develop the club. So far it meets all my expectations, and I think we're also blessed with the fact that we have a very nice group of attendants in the master. So I think that helps a lot if you can challenge each other a little bit during the meetings we have. But overall, the master program, is very good. I think for everybody who works in football, you look in your own way to games, or you maybe use own pronunciation or own words or own language, let's say that. So you hear a lot of different types of words for the same things we mean. So if you talk with different coaches from different clubs, you're basically always first 10 minutes busy with what do you mean with this word? What do you mean with this sentence? Do we understand what we mean? And do we look at the same thing? If you look at the Tactalyse master and you talk about individual tactalization, then we talk always with the same words, same quote, same way of connecting, same way of using the words. And then we talk about the insights of that. So that makes it very fast, very clear what we talk about. And then also the steps that Tactalyse provides on how to guide players into, for example, a dribble or a passing, but also different type of dueling. It all sounds on the first sight very normal, very, let's say, easy. Everybody should do that, but not in the way it's built up by you guys. So that is very interesting to look from with those glasses to games again and to individual players, and to guide them in a better structure. And I think that's very important. Not only to have the structure yourself better as a coach, but mainly to help players in a better structure so it's easier for them. Because for yourself as a coach, it's always clear what you mean or what you want to say. But at the end, it is about the player and how clear it is for them. We have lessons every week from around 2 hours. First about the vision of Tactalyse and how they work, and after that about different positions. So Tactalyse make different positions for 11 against 11, and in that position we have mainly the same tasks and the same individual tactics. So we go through that by position, and then we get homework. So we get the principles that they use, and by Tactalyse they describe it as the individual tactalization, and about that we go from player to player, and we have then homework to say, okay, we're only watching a fullback in defensive skill. We're only watching a fullback now attactively, and then we combine that and which fundamentals, that's the word Tactalyse use, which fundamentals can you then see, read, and later on value. Because it's not about if the player doing it right or good, it's about learning to see these skills and not if they do it right or good, because that's always part of how you look at it yourself. And then at the end we discuss this kind of homework, but also we have for every position an exam to check your own knowledge and to see really if you gain the insight you touch your game. And that also gives you a mirror to see, okay, here I need to do some more analyzing on the individual position to learn this or to see this fundamental. And in some ways it's just a funny way to help yourself and see really if you develop the way you want it. For me, it's a new structure to look at individual tactics. So Tactalyse call it fundamentals, and you hear a lot of different words in football with principles, with sub-principles. I believe more in intentions than in principles. And I think here the structure of how you look at an individual player, the steps they can make during a dribble, during a duel, and how you can then help players in this structure, and then always using the same type of words and the same structure, that is for me the most interesting to help players guide that way. And you can do it immediately. So I have a lesson about fullback for 1 month, and then I of course talk with my own fullbacks and use this knowledge immediately, and you see that helps in the way for them for a clear structure about what we're talking about. And you see also that it's quite normal that maybe we mean the same thing for a winger as for a fullback, but we say different words. And in that way, you miss this clear structure, which the master helps you provide. So for me, that's like the biggest gain. Yeah, the guidance is the program I just shared with you. And the guidance there next to it is the fact that we can talk with each other, so the attendants from the masters, and also with Laura. So he giving the master himself, and then if I watch some clips and I'm doubting, like, okay, what fundamental is this? Is this the ending of a ground duel, or are we going now to a carrier duel? Then I can send him the movie immediately and say, Laura, look, I'm struggling between this and this. How do you look at that? And you can do that as many times as you want and as much as clips as you want. And then he will find the time to react on that and maybe call with you or react on WhatsApp. It's what your preference. And then you can go immediately in your learning process to the next stage, to the next level. So I think that guidance is in a small group in a master, very short lines of communication where you can learn as fast and as much as possible as you want. But also for everybody, it's understandable that every coach is very busy in his own work, so that we, with this at least once a week lesson, you will really combine everything. And then, you learn a lot also with the discussions during that call. I would say yes, on individual tactics for sure, not for team tactics. That's also why I wanted to do the master, because I wanted more insight in this individual tactics, because as a head coach, you're in the first period of your time always busy with big lines, team tactics, how do we want to play as a team, what do we want to see from the whole attacking line, but then if that stands, you want to go more individually. And if you have worked longer with the same group, then A is standing, and then you want to make the next step individually. And for myself, I have a lot of things clear on how I want to play. I can say my own vision is completely clear, but that's for myself. Mm-hmm. And then finding a way to share that with your group in the right structure, that's the most important thing to do. And I think Tactalyse helped me a lot with that, in how to provide that, in how to structure that, and how to give that structure also to the players. So for me, that's the way I look different at that part and at individual parts. Also, with some discussions we had about a fullback that can also be defending to a winger with his back to the winger and not with his face to the winger. And so also in ways how to defend. There are more ways for me that are right. It's just about what you want as a coach, what you believe in, and what is maybe best for your players. But to discuss that, it's more objectively when you have the fundamentals next to it in individual tactics, then when you miss that guidance or that structure. So now you have like a blue paper and you say, okay, this is the way we look at it and this is the way we talk about it. And you see you can go way more easily and deeper into, is he doing it good or not? Why do we think it's the good reaction or the good action? Why not? And you still talk 100% about the same. And if you see you missed the blue paper, then you talk about always, is the action right or not right? But if you talk with the player with different coaches, there's a lot of noise around. You switch from dribble to first contact to is there pressure or no pressure. So there's not a clear blue paper where you say, okay, now we talk about the first touch, and then we can give our opinion if we think it's good or not good. Then we talk about the dribble, then we talk about, and otherwise it goes everywhere really quick. If you put football coaches or a coach and a player in one room and you don't provide that structure, then you lose an hour and you talk about everything also around. So to come faster to the point and to make that clearer to players, that really helped me and opened my eyes. What I said, we had position A, then I also combine it immediately in my work for that position. But of course, there are fundamentals that are coming back in more positions. So you can use it for the whole team way more. So yes, I can implement it immediately. I also use my own games in the homework to analyze that again. I also use opponents' games to analyze individual tactics if they play in a different formation. So for me, it's a parallel to my daily work. I think the knowledge you guys have and the way you guys work. So the master program on itself is not unique, that you have a lesson, that you have homework. Every school does that. But I think it's really about the knowledge that you share. I been with a lot of clubs. I've worked at a lot of clubs myself, but I also visit a lot of clubs. I see this a little bit in Spain back, the individual tactalization. So I see this a little bit at Valencia, how they do it. But it's not in the same way, but they have more eyes for individual tactalization and individual skills. In the Netherlands, we maybe try to make that step a little bit, but the way you guys work in individual tactics, I've never seen that before. I've never heard that before. You see that there are some people on the market doing it as well, but they talk a lot about scanning only or orientating, and that's just a part of a football action. So the way you look at individual tactics, the way Tactalyse make their own way of working, I think is completely unique. I've never seen that before, and I've never seen that in that guidelines before. So that information is the most value of the master. And then again, the way you hand it, I think is a good way, but that's not the value. The value is the knowledge. I would advise the master to everybody who is open to challenge the way he or she was looking at the game, is open to learn more about individual tactics, and who really wants to learn. Because if you're not completely open to this, you will have moments where you fall back in old patterns and want to fight some things. That's not what it's about. It's not about right or wrong. For my case, it's about gaining more knowledge. And then after that, you can implement it the way you want it and the way you believe it's best.